Welcome back, guys, to the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where last episode, after pointing out the issue with the weapon's placement in the body staunching the flow of blood, the harebrained professor we are defending started to undo our defense by saying the metal could not transport via electrolysis as a reason why the weapon was found on the platform, until we showed him objects made of metal that did in fact transport, proving the experiment to not have worked. However, with the prosecution still standing by the fact that it did, new witnesses have been called as we cross-examine new testimony on the view from 60 feet up. It was an incident terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Hold it! There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand, which we saw get blown up in a diagram, didn't we? See, all 3 of them. My Belisma Bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know. Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Thank you, witnesses. I think the court had a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident. Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. Hold it! So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything! We saw everything, because we were up above it all! That dodgy cove climbing into that cage, and that dodgy professor pulling all their them levers. And that's when it happened! That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared. Just like that! You were describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang right in my ear! I looked around, and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. And there was nothing there before. Hello?
Excuse me.
Excusey. Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use your full name. Ah, yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein. Just the 4 names, then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add to in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remarks, perhaps? Oi, get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh? Yeah, there was a second explosion, and it was right beside our balloons, that is true. But I'm sure... Which is what I said, isn't it? 1 minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? It's 1 balloon gone as well. He spent 3 gold pieces. This guy's got a racket. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? Hey, you what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it. You can't say I didn't. I will complain to the consul. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia. It was not the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. I'm wondering, of course, if this comes into things at the moment. Because a piece of green cloth, canvas-like material, rubber on one side. Hold it! A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior. Ragozo, it is very wrong to lie. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Badia? Badai? Even, I don't know. I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them! Here you are, Your Highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon? Oh no, I did not see the explosion myself. However, the cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. Hold it! The bone of contention is definitely the balloon. Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grand confusion around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. But, okay, very short ones, but maybe all his balloons were in the sky too. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Hold it! Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? You sure had, Odo? How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So, because I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to steal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. 2 explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. It was an incident terrible. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Okay. But either looking to here, there was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time, which of course we have a green scrap that we got out of stuff. But equally, he says a balloon was not damaged, but we also have balloon canvas that is damaged. So, there's 2 potential points of presentation is what we're looking at here. Now, do I want to press the kid with it? Who says that it exploded, so he's not denying any incident. But the other guy was denying an incident. Or do I want to press the guy who says the no balloons were damaged, but we know a balloon was damaged? I'd say we start with him, and if we fail, we go to the kiddo.
Objection!
Mr. Lune, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Correct. I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope. Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Goss testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. Eh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Lune, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. Thank you, kiddo. You led us where we needed to be. If the balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, haven't just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience. How awful. Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
Objection!
Instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Lune? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person's died in a balloon incident. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Lune. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is not possible. Non-possible. Impossible. I don't know. You're saying it's impossible. Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Ah!
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Lune. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Ah, grazie, my lord. Mr. Lune's balloons. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The coppers at the yard reckon it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. Okay, so we're proving it's not your balloon. So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you? Si, exactamente. If you even saw a balloon in the first place, I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war. Man, this replicating balloon trick's great money. What happened to all-out war? Mr. Lune certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses. Let's press some more. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Signor, I might not notice that I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons. It would appear no mistake had been made then. Surely Mr. Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What, me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true. But the boss bought it and said he'd have a go himself in that case. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! Oh, I forgot to press the wrong button. Life is bad. Hold it! It'd be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And a balloon flies because it flies. What else? That must be Italian for I don't know. There are 2 types of flying balloons. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air. Whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion! I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But if you still say this is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Lune had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Like, that look of expression is like, huh? You can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can you? Hold it! I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. And it always works out better diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees. Yeah. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish on the floor. Thing is, though, the cage went crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Cool, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Kind of think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we had about the investigation. The coppers at the yard reckon it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. Ah! Why am I so trigger happy on the X button currently? Hold it! There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the coves what were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. This stupido Ragozo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. Hold it! You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You can therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition that did not somehow hit the news? Si, exactamente. As the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little Ragozo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. He did not like that.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, Olagozo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence. What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious!
What? I had not been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon, and the instantaneous kinesis experiment. Did you take a picture of that? Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. Well, okay. It's not in color, but I'm guessing because it's the same shade and it's not striped as the trees behind it. Like the trees aren't striped, sure. It is technically a gold mine. Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah. Perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Wah! Wah! With the hymn. That is one very Bohemian sounding cry. Wah! Wah!
Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence.
The photograph of the balloon has been entered in the court record. It shows another balloon that he claims was green and exploded moments after he took the shot. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you've picked up. As I thought, Mr. Lune's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Lune vehemently denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Let's look at that photo a little bit more before we look at any stuff. I somehow don't doubt that every balloon in the sky landed safely. Right, so we can see a person or something inside the cage at this point in time. Him setting up the experiment and starting to vent steam. Something being shot upwards, which is very important. And most importantly, there's just a solid colored balloon. Don't know if anything else in the background is interesting to look at, but it also contained no one, which is very interesting. Why is it up there with no passenger? Alright, so as I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon landed in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in the explosion, what a catastrophe! Aha! So it's actually not the solid green the balloon, it's the last thing we noted on that picture, that it has no one inside it. This balloon has no passenger, which means we're verifying your claim a little bit, but it does mean that there was another balloon possibly on the scene. If all your balloons had passengers, then we're just proving that there was more balloons. Yes?
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a 4th balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. A mysterious green balloon. I know nothing, niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Lune's patch without him realizing. See, the competizione, trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the esperimento that went wrong on the stage. This 4th balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. Mysterious 4th balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? I mean, there's the shot of something flying upwards to pop it. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, wait, please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue?
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now. So tell the court.
What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The balloon's owner, the balloon's color, the cause of the explosion? Personally, we can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yeah, that's right, yeah! It was not my fault! Evidently. Because the bird cage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened.
What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, You will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And that what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is...
I mean, I guess I've got to be very accurate here.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what is that?
Yes. What is that indeed? As we get to an interesting point of the case. A fourth balloon,
Not 990.
that was exploded. Green. Wreckage scattered all over the place. What does this have to do with the events that took place on the experiment stage? I guess we might get to more of that next time on The Great Ace Attorney 2. Resolve. I'll see you guys then for that. Bye-bye.